everybody, PattyAnne here. I'm going to show you how to make these things for your kids. Easy peasy. You can just print them out. You don't even have to use a cutting machine for them, and you don't even have to have a color printer. Just cut them out in black and white and let your kids color them. What a good way to save it. But this is an excellent activity for them to do for homeschoolers, for sequencing, for telling stories, for listening, for just all kind of things. Vocabulary development. You know, one of these is big, one is small, and they could use different adjectives to describe stuff. But anyway, let's get started. It's very easy. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do this using my Silhouette software. You don't have to have the purchase version. You can just have the free one if all you want to do is print these and you just feel like you want to print it from there. But you can just print it directly from your computer. Let me stop talking. Let's get busy. Look at this page that I have right here, and you'll see three Billy Goats gruff. Notice it says color and B and W underneath. So that means that you can actually just have it printed out in black and white if you want to save your ink and have your children or students color these things, which would be a lot of fun for them. If you don't want to do it like that, let's go back, and you want to do the color version. You can do the color version just like this. And just take your scissors and cut around these. You don't have to have a cutting machine. However, if you do have a cutting machine, what I suggest you do then is just to download this, and you'll name it as, come up with whatever it is. And since I'm using Google Chrome and I'm using Windows 10, it automatically goes into my downloads folder, which I love. So I've already done it. It's right here. So I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to cancel. But I am going to open up Silhouette now. And all you have to do to use these is this. Go to File and Open. Do not do Merge. If you try to merge into your page, it's not going to work properly. So go to File and Open. Okay, and once you do that, you're going to go to Open. And this part is important. You're going to look for the Billy Goat file right here, the PDF. Double click on it to open it. Now, here's what you want to do. You don't want to import it as a vector. You want to import it as an image. And if you want to, you can change the DPI up so it's a better print. I guess I'll do it to 144 and say import. It's going to import page number 1. There's page number 1. Then I would go to File and Open. Same file, Billy Goat. And I'm going to change this to import as an image. Going to go to page number 2, and again I'll change it to 144 dpi or dots per inch and say import. So that's on a separate page. Again, I'll go to File and Open. Same file, change it to import as image and do it for page number 3, and change it to 144, import, and I think there's one more page. File and Open. Same file, import as an image, number 4, import as an image, change it to 144 dpi and say import. So now I have every single piece that I need for this. And again, you don't have to do this. If you want to just cut them out with your scissors, that's fine. But if you do want to cut it with your cutting machine, here's what you do. I'll go back to the first one I did right here, and I'm going to go ahead and come over to the trace panel. Click on that and then select the trace area. I'll just trace around these guys. Try not to get the text up there because I don't really want it. Once I have them selected, you can see that it has not traced very well everything. That means I have to up the threshold. So I can up it as far as I want, trying to look and to make sure that the lines aren't getting really jaggedy around him. So, you know, so that's probably pretty good like that. So I'll just say trace and detach. Since this is going to be a print then cut, I want to trace and detach. So now, see this square that was behind it? I can click on that and delete it. And then these guys right here, I'm just going to add an offset on them. So if I want to add an offset, and I'm going to use this, let's say, for Cricut Design Space, here's what I would do. Come here to Offset panel, which is the star with an offset on it. Click on that and say offset. Notice it automatically excuse me, put an offset around it, and I could change its color to white by coming up here. And I could group it together. Now, I can leave it just like this for silhouette because it'll work perfectly. Let me show you. If I go to send and I say select both of them and say, rather than cut, I say cut edge. Notice what it's going to do. It's going to cut around the outer edge of that nice offset that I put on here. And of course this guy I did not put an offset on, so it would cut right up against his body. But I'm going to go back here and put an offset on him. And again, there's something else I have to show you that's very important for Cricut. But let's offset this one first, as if we're doing it just for silhouette or Cameo. I'll change the offset color to white if I want to, and then I would group both of these together. Here is what I do for my Cricut machine. I grab this. Notice this one right here. This is the line color. I like to change the line color to a darker color, a medium gray, I'd say. Change this one to a medium gray color, maybe about the third one over. And then what I would do for my Cricut machine, just to grab both of these guys, and if I want them to be the same size as what they are here, I would put the number 6.250 in my name. So I'm going to go to File, Save Selection, Save to Hard Drive, and I'll name it 6.250, I think. 250 Billy Goats. And I'm going to save it for Cricut Design Space as a JPEG. I always save it as a JPEG. I don't do it as a PNG. So I'll say OK. And I'll leave these just as they are and say Save. Now just to show you one time quickly how it does work in Cricut, I'm not going to go through all these in Cricut. Just so you know, same technique every time. Open up Cricut. Go to a new project. I'm going to go to Upload. Upload an image, browse. I'm going to find those goats, and they should be in my downloads, I think. Yeah, there it is, 6.250 goats. There they are. But that white is all behind them, and I just want the nice white offset. And that's why we made that gray line border around, because if we say complex and continue, and then I try my select and erase tool and see, nope, that time it didn't work. Did you see what it did? It got rid of my offset. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to come over here to Advanced. I'm going to change the color tolerance up to about an 8 and see what happens now when I click. Okay, look at that. It's leaving the offset around there just the way I want it to. Perfect. So I would just go to Continue and Save. And I could insert them. So again, you'll do the same exact sequence for every one of these images. If we're not sure if it came in at the right size, we can look at the size up here, 6.507, 6.2, it was 6.250, enter. And let's see, right now this is too big for a print then cut because it's too tall. So what I would have to do now is to take a shape and put it over top of one of these guys, unlock it, and just drag it out. Oops, unlock it, and drag it out so that it just covers one of them. Then I could take all of this stuff and say slice. Grab both things and say slice. There we go. And now I can get rid of this piece. I don't need it. Get rid of this piece. I don't need it. And then you know what I did though? I got a little of his offset, and I'll show you I got a little bit too close, because if we look here and I come up here, put the different color on, see how I got a little bit of it right there? So let me fix that a minute. Hang on. Let's go back. Control Z and go back. All right, so here we are. So what I really should have done when I did this in Silhouette was had these further apart. Let me get a different shape for a second, see if maybe a circle might work better. I'm going to undo it and draw a circle, and I'm going to make it an odd shape, twirl it around, see if I can get him without getting any of the other offset. Okay, it looks like I'm maybe going to be able to. So I'm having to work at this a little bit. right, let's see. Okay, I think that's going to work now. So I'm going to grab these two things and say slice, and now I'll have what I want pretty much. But again, what I could have done over there in Cricut Design Space, or I mean Silhouette, before I saved them, was move them apart a little bit, you know? Just move them apart a little bit like that so it's easier to draw a box around them. But anyway, those two guys would be ready to be made. Let's peek right back over there for 1 sec. We would go to make it, and they'll be on two separate pieces like this because they'll be print thin cuts. And that's how easy it is with Cricut. So I don't need to probably go through all of these with you, but let me show you one more. We have this. Okay, this one was a little bit more tricky. I had the troll and the little tiny billy goat. So again, I'd come up here to the trace panel, select the trace area, trace it like this. And again, I need to move the threshold way up to get everything. And that looks like I pretty much have everything. I'm pretty satisfied with that. So again, I would just trace and detach. This one actually was fairly easy also, so I could get rid of this. And then just make some offsets around him. Come over here to the offset panel, offset. Change its color to white if I'd like. And again, if I'm using this for Cricut, I would want to change this color of the line to a medium gray. I do see one other thing I'll want to do. If you look closely, let's scroll in. You can see this line right here where it's going to cut that out of the offset. I don't need that to be cut out of the offset like that. I don't need a hole there. So I double clicked on it to get the nodes. Then I'm going to click on this node to highlight it. When I've clicked on it and highlighted it, it turns white. That means it's the active node and I can act on it. And I'm going to delete it by hitting delete on my keyboard. After that one's deleted, the next node in line gets highlighted as white, so I can delete it. And so on. It just keeps coming until they're all gone. And so you can see this better now. I could change this to a different color. Whoops. Okay. So now you can see that there's no longer going to be a cut, but oh, look at here. There's another one on this side and I didn't notice it before. So again, what I would do is double click. See these little nodes or little points that show up? When I click on one, it turns white. That means I can delete it. Now the next one has turned white. I can delete it. And the next one. And there's another way to do this, but I'm not going to confuse you today with options. So let's scroll back out. And what I could do now is just grab both of these guys and come up here and center them and then group. And of course, before I group them, let me ungroup. I'd want to change that offset to white because I don't want it to be dark like that. I like a white offset. And now I'll center them again and group. So he's done, and you can see his offset around his head up there. Okay, this little dude here needs to be an offset now. So again, I just come over here to offset, offset, and again change its color to white if I'd like rather than transparent. And if this is for Cricut, I would change this line color to a medium gray. And then I would grab both and group. So those are done. I'm remembering now that something was a problem. This guy right here was a little bit of a problem for me. So let me show you how to do the bridge and then we'll finish up. So I'm going to come over here to the trace panel, select the trace area, and trace this. And I'm going to up the threshold to just like that and say trace. Oh, no, I'm not going to trace. Sorry. I'm going to trace and detach because it's going to be a print thin cut. So it's going to be trace and detach. Okay, so now I'm going to grab this down here to move this part out, the box that was behind it. Can you see how I'm moving out parts? Maybe you can see over here. Okay, so I'm just going to click on that and delete it with my keyboard. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of this stuff and come up here to Object, make it a compound path. Otherwise, if I don't make it a compound path, each one of these little parts is individual. Well, not each one, but a lot of them, and it can really cause problems. So I'm going to undo, undo, undo. And now I'm going to grab it all, like I said, and come up here to Object, make it a compound path. And then if I want to, what I can do now is to add an offset to it. It's going to put an offset here in the center and around the edges. And I think you might notice something. Something down here is goofy. So there was an extra little piece here that didn't get cut off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click to get the points. When I click on this one, it becomes active and I can delete it. Now I can delete this middle point. And what I'm going to do now is click on this piece right here and I'm going to say make flat. This is the point editing panel that opened up automatically, and say make flat. And I'm going to make this part flat. And there's many ways to do this. And what I actually could do is this. I could delete this point here, delete, and delete this one, and that makes it flat just like that. So like there's many ways to skin this cat. There's another place up here that's kind of weird, this point right here that I don't need. But this is, this is the little kids thing. It doesn't really, matter that much. But if you really want to make it perfect, you can do all this. Okay, there's that. And now again, I can get rid of, let's see, I think I'll move this down like this and make this flat. And let's see, I'll make this like that and make that flat and make that flat and then move this out like that. Okay, that's pretty good. And let's scroll back out and see what we have. All right, everything else looks okay to me, so I'm going to scroll way out, change that offset color to white. And if this is for Cricut Design Space, change the line color to the medium or third gray over, and grab all of this and group it. And that's all you have to do. So again, if you want to use it in your cutting machine, you can use it like this. If you just want to cut these, all you have to do is go to that website. And once you have them here, you can download it if you want to, or if you have Acrobat, you can download it here, or you could simply go to print and it's going to print all these pages just like this. And how easy would it be just to cut around these edges? And I'll show you. I'm going to cut the bridge out myself right now. So let's check it out. Okay, as I said, most of the time I use my Cricut or my Cameo to cut out the pieces with the offset around them. However, parents, you don't have to have these, or homeschool teachers or teachers. You don't have to have a cutting machine. You can simply cut things out with a pair of scissors. So that's what I'm going to do for this last part right here. Just cut it out. And again, you just rough cut around it. You don't have to be exact. I am thinking I'm going to cut out the center because I think the kids might have a fun time having the troll come up through the middle. So I'll just kind of fold this in half and make a slice here so I can put my scissor in here. Probably be better if I had a smaller one. And then just kind of rough cut around on here. Because I think maybe, I don't know, if I were a little kid, and actually I want to try it, I'm going to try to see if my little troll can jump out from underneath the bridge and run up there and talk to the billy goats. Right? So let's get this cut out and give it a try. Okay, and I can finish cutting that a little bit closer later off camera, not to waste your time. But see, here's the grass they want to go to, and of course the billy goats go tromping over the bridge, clickety clack, clickety clack, and who comes out but the troll? Who's crossing over my bridge? It's I. Anyway, you get the idea.